You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the September 6th meeting of the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board meetings of September 6th. If you can please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Shannon, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Latchford?
Here.
Mr. Breeze?
Here.
Mr. Glidden?
Here.
Mrs. Sperling?
Here.
All right. The minutes from our executive session and from our previous meeting on August 15th, both on August 15th, were prepared in advance and given to us unless there are any corrections or additions. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes for both meetings?
I would move we accept the minutes printed from August 15th and their last park board meeting, the 15th.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Any project updates?
No, sir.
All right, next we have the water tower bids. First, we'll receive bids for the water tower park for anyone that haven't submitted anything yet. Is there anyone here to submit a bid? Seeing none, we'll close the bid. And now we'll move on to opening the bids that we have received. Shannon,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
We received 2 bids today. The first from Reeve Riley at 1:45 p.m. Total base bid submitted is $1,327,870. Alternate 1, pickleball court, is adding $85,700. Alternate 2, a drinking fountain, adding $29,500. Alternate 3 is a concrete speed table. Amount is $64,350. And alternate 4 is a temporary speed table for $24,945. And I'm not seeing days to complete on here, but it is a fairly large bid packet. The second bid was received today also at 4:25 p.m. from Larson Danielson. Total base bid is $1,146,268. Alternate 1, pickleball court, $107,814. Alternate 2, drinking fountain, $10,643. Alternate 3, concrete speed table, $43,170. And alternate 4 is the temporary speed table, $16,266. I would remind the board that our budget on this project was $775,000. So I would ask the board to table these for further review.
Thank you, Shannon. Questions or comments from the board?
Excuse me, Shannon, what was the budgeted amount?
775,000.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
Well, I would move that we table these bids till a further meeting.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, any table business tonight?
No, sir.
Okay, new business. We have a E-foil memorandum of understanding.
Yeah, Superintendent Ed Shidden and I met with, Ryan, who's here tonight to answer any questions you may have. He is looking to conduct e-foil lessons, between California Avenue Beach and Lake Avenue Beach. The MOU that was presented to you has been reviewed by our attorney, Laura Nuremberg, as well as Charlie Keene at General Insurance Company, and they both found it to be in order. This is a similar agreement as we have with Windy City Kites to do kiteboarding lessons off of Washington Park Beach.
Thank you, Shannon.
You're welcome.
Questions or comments from the board, or does Mr. Excuse me,
Ryan Wellman.
Ryan Wellman, you have any comments or questions you'd like to address the board, and maybe just give us an update on e-foiling and how it works? If you could please come to the microphone and state your name and address, that'd be great. We may not have a good understanding of what e-foiling actually is, and then maybe what your intention is. Can you hear me? Yeah, welcome.
So Mr. Wellman, good to meet you guys. So I'm here to represent, students and bring people to Michigan City to get people out on the water. My intention is to bring it here as well as other places. I was doing it out of Long Beach. I've also been in LaPorte, Indiana. Essentially what it is it's an electronically controlled board. You stand on it, it's like kind of like surfing, but then it starts levitating. So you have this feeling of flying over water. We have safety equipment, US Coast Guard approved life jackets, helmets. I have two-way comm. I usually teach 1 to 2 students at once. That's all I can think of for now. But my intention is to get Michigan City on the board with Lift Foils. I'm a representative at Lift. They sponsored me to start a school here. There is nothing along the lakefront here. We have one in St. Joe. That's my friend Tyler with Dope Riders. That's pretty much it. The exclusive e-foiling.
Excellent, thank you. So the motors contain.
I'm sure that you guys wanted to see it's like a equipment picture.
Sure. Yeah, if you don't mind. And the motor is constantly underwater, correct?
Yes. Yeah. And for safety reasons, I'm only requesting a very small space. I mean, it's literally like COVID rule, 6 feet. So I use a beachhead to set up. California Street was, where I propose to be at.
Sure.
It's a less traffic spot than Washington Park, but we got the other high school down there, so we want to step on it. So
Sure.
now I'm not teaching kiteboarding or anything, so just learning.
So it's rental and teaching, or is it all one package?
No rentals. You got to pass the course, and I'm really kind of against rentals. So it's I'm going to be there supervising. The lessons actually conducted are taking place out in the water past the buoys. So to protect usage, any swimmers or anything like that. Now our helmets are orange, for brightly labeled, clearly visible.
So if someone's interested, they're under your guidance with the two-way communication the whole time.
Correct. So we do like a 20-minute beach lesson for safety, and then we get everyone out. As I stated before, there's no use in the swim area. So we're past the break, past the buoys, for safety stuff.
And then how far can a rider go on the board?
Well, so the battery life is 2.5 hours. So it's all your stamina. You can go far, but I usually keep everybody kind of close. First thing we work on is turning, just laying down on your belly and turning.
Sure.
And then we progress to standing up.
Okay.
So, it's actually a lot easier when you're standing. So Mr. Shin.
Yes, I noticed in your MOU, you recommend a training for the parking staff and the park maintenance
I'm
department.
offering that to, educate the public, and educate cars, maybe some safety or even just an equipment demo kind of thing. So it's not as, with the kiteboarding, which I used to teach that as well. That's 20 meters of lines. It's windy. It could be hazardous, so, my intention is, like I said, get this for everyone so that everyone can have an opportunity to try it. So, that's what I'd like to offer, a free clinic, with that. And then even Michigan City locals, I give a little discount, maybe 10% off. So I'm calling myself eFoil MC or eFoil Michigan City. So, registered under Upside is lit. So,
If there would happen to be equipment malfunction or someone panics out beyond where you can't swim to get them, what's your plan to help them at that
well, what
point?
I've been doing is I'm usually on the board myself.
Okay.
I'm right there with them. You fall off, it knows you fell. It's kind of like the same as a jet ski, if you have the rip quarter, this isn't even a rip, it's digital Bluetooth. So you're any more than 6 inches away from it, it knows. So it shuts off. The remote control, it says right on it how much battery life you have, and like I said, we have full communication. So.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Do they wear a life jacket?
Yeah, I require it.
Yeah,
It's written in my insurance that has to be.
Okay.
You have to go through.
And Upside only, is that, so that's not your company, that's
Me, yeah,
That's you-
I'm
oh.
outside, yeah,
Oh.
so I'm just DBA is.
Oh,
Michigan
gotcha,
City.
okay, cool. How long have you been doing this?
I've been teaching kiteboarding for over like 6 years,
Mhm.
and then the foiling is kind of an advanced thing you do with the kite.
Mhm.
But you have the whole, as you can see the picture, the
Yeah.
foil, but it needs wind.
Mhm.
The one I'm proposing to teach, you don't need wind, you just have, hand control, some power.
Right. Yeah, it's cool. I'm a beach goer, so
Oh,
and maybe it's you that I see out there. There's someone out there all the time.
yeah, it's
doing-
probably been me, yeah.
That's pretty cool. And my husband's like, I gotta get one of those. I gotta learn how to do that. So
Yeah.
that's really cool that,
We're also set up as a dealership too, so if anyone's ever
Oh, that's cool.
interested,
yeah,
equipment demo free and,
Mhm.
lessons that come with that.
yeah, good stuff. When do you plan on being there, like a set steady times or just whenever?
So it's weather depending, so, looking for buttery flat water, easy for beginners, I'm somewhat advanced, so I can ride waves, but it's not my intention to have it going out
Mhm.
in anything like less than tiny little 6-inch wave, barely,
Yeah.
you don't really want to chop, so.
I also see in your MOU that you have a waiver for persons under 18. Did I read that correctly?
I think I'm only right now just teaching 18 to 65.
Okay.
That's the waiver
Okay.
price for my insurance purposes.
So your insurance doesn't allow you to teach people under 18?
I didn't put in the bid that way, so you kind of just acquired the sports insurance. So I wasn't sure,
Yeah.
how much it could cost, with the everything. I'm still. I mean, we're set up with the insurance, but maybe next year I could
Mhm.
teach younger high school people
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm looking for responsible people, but I'm also looking to, be an outlet to other alternatives, like, and anything,
Yeah, cool.
Any other questions or comments? Any questions from the public? In full disclosure, I was handed a letter here right before the meeting with the other person we have a MOU with for kiteboarding, and he was expressing some concerns that he has with allowing another person to have an MOU, even though it's in a different area and different activity. And briefly reading through his concerns, as I'm happy to share with anyone, I don't really see it as a conflict of interest with the park department. We can have simultaneous MOUs. His is at Sheridan Beach, stop 2. Kiteboard Mike is down in Washington Park. And the activities are can both cohabitate on the beach. And that's just my opinion, and I'm welcome to, if anyone, that's the premise of the letter. If anyone else wants to review it now, we can, or we can table this matter. But personally, I don't see a conflict with the park.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't recommend tabling it. His contract, the proposed contract would begin September 20th, so this fall, and run through September 19th of 2024.
What was the concern that the other person had?
There were one that he's going to pick off business. One of his concerns is that there's a, let's see, I'll just read it. Concerns. Also, I know you were proposing that he conduct business outside the boundaries set in my MOU with you, but this is not an activity that attracts many walk-up customers and does in fact affect my business greatly. Lessons are planned ahead, so to have someone else marketing the same city is a direct competition. Because of my investment in gear, etc., as well as the overhead costs and travel up the coastline. The list price lessons make this a very small niche with a very small clientele. The only other concern, or his next paragraph, but his biggest concern is to avoid something like what we had happen in Washington Park last October when this person who hadn't renewed an MOU or continued to do business with the Parks Department with a certificate of insurance did not access a new to him student properly and put a big kiteboard on without prerequisite. The student panicked and went unconscious. So he's saying there was an unlicensed person doing business down there, which really we certainly don't want. And you can see there's some problems with it, but indeed, he's going through the proper steps here to avoid that. Those were his two concerns at the very last paragraphs of the letter. Again, I can understand competition, but we're here to provide recreational opportunities as well. And I think it's a big enough beach that we can support both.
I agree.
But I'm welcome any comments, or if anyone else has anything.
I would think that'd be on 2 different days. One needs wind and one needs no wind.
Good point.
So if there are no other questions, what's the pleasure of the board with the MOU with Mr. Wellman?
Okay.
Certainly.
If you like, I would be glad to alter the waiver and release to get rid of paragraph about 18 and under. It doesn't align with this insurance, and it certainly is there's no reason to be there to add confusion. So if you want to adopt this, fine, just go ahead and put that in the record that we're going to alter that to remove that paragraph.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Any questions from the public? All right, seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
I would move we accept the equal memorandum of understanding with the exception of the paragraph that our attorney is going to delete.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next we have the Salvation Army Holiday Kettle request.
Thank you. This is the Salvation's annual request to collect donations at Washington Park during the opening of the Festival of Holiday Lights, which will be held on Saturday, December 2nd from 5 to 10 p.m. This event's been going on for decades, as far back as I can remember. It's a great fundraiser for them, and I would highly recommend that we support their efforts to help our community.
Thank you, Shannon.
You're welcome.
Questions or comments from the board?
Just a comment. I think Salvation Army does a great job here in Michigan City, and I volunteer on Mondays to go pack lunches. And they just are important to so many people. And this campaign they have at Christmas time, especially people who are, I think, a little more giving at that time of the year. I don't have any problem with it.
Thank you, Phil. Any other questions or comments?
I've been at the gate where we collect for the Red Kettle, and I think maybe it's appropriate to have some kind of signage. I know it's dark after the lighting, and it's dark in December. But some people turn around, they think they're having to pay for parking. They don't understand that they're it's a voluntary donation. So maybe some signage at the entrance that there's a voluntary donation, and that they're not expected to pay to park or drive through.
Good point.
Thank you, Tim.
If the board agrees, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if the board agrees to that, I'll make sure that happens. I know how we feel about signs, but I won't do that unless the board would like to see that. Is that majority?
I think any communication that we can provide that lets people know what's going on is helpful. Plus, this isn't permanent signage. This is just,
Right.
it's one day, right?
One night.
You got it.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Mr. Glidden had.
Any other questions or comments? Questions from the public? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the Salvation Army holiday pedal request?
I would move that we accept the Salvation Army holiday kettle request during the Festival of Lights on December 2.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good motion.
All right, now we have the Washington Park Zoo animal request. Hello. Welcome.
Hello, pleasant event. I'm Rick with Washington Park Zoo. So I'm here tonight to ask permission to transfer out one of our female wallabies. Her dad's the only male in the group, so obviously we don't want to encourage any inbreeding, and she's weaned now, so she's to that point where she's ready to be placed. So if we sell her, she'd be worth about $200 or $2,500, or she could be towards trade for another species of animal. We're also asking permission to place our lone male Tamandua. We lost our female to cancer earlier this year, so with him being by himself, we wanted to transfer him out. He is a nocturnal animal, so we're kind of looking towards something diurnal, which would be awake during the day. So with that, we wanted to find an appropriate zoological facility to house him. We're also asking permission to, when the time comes, to golden-handed tamarins. Our group is still breeding, and when the older babies get to a certain age, parents kick them out. I've been here many times to ask for permission to place them. So with that, we want to use them towards trades in the future. So we just want to get permission ahead of time to be prepared to place them when that does happen, because they did produce 2 more offspring this year. And then we also, with placing the Tamandua, we wanted to have some permission to look towards finding another primate species to replace him with in that enclosure that he's in right now, which is in our jungle building. So, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Thank you. Questions, comments? My only comment is you are always pragmatic in your approach to managing the species and the collection, and I thank you for that. And all the detail you always provide just makes it easy on us to understand exactly what your intentions are, and well-intentioned at that. Any other questions or
You're the
comments?
pro.
Questions from the public? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the zoo animal requests?
I would move that we approve the animal collection request for August 2023.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Well, thank you for coming to explain it, and good luck. Sure. Right now, we have a request to the Board of Works to terminate the Amtrak license agreement.
And President Latchford, if you don't object, I'd like to read this letter in its entirety, because this has been somewhat of a complex issue.
Yeah, I think it would be good for everyone to understand exactly what's going on, and your letters will do exactly that, so please
Thank you.
do.
So the letter is to the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. Dear board members, on August 3rd, 2016, The Board of Works executed the design phase agreement between National Railroad Passenger Corporation and the City of Michigan City, Indiana. The agreement called for a preliminary design review by Amtrak of the detailed plans and specifications supplied by Michigan City consultants Butler, Fairman, and Seifert, and required a prepayment of $50,490, which the city paid to Amtrak. On February 8th of 2017, Amtrak informed the city that they would be designing and installing new crossing gates, including a gate control module to the existing signal house and the portion of the at-grade crossing across the tracks. This required an amendment to the original design agreement and another prepayment of $10,428, which the city paid to Amtrak. On April 27th of 2017, the Board of Works executed Amendment Number 1 to the design phase agreement between National Railroad Passenger Corp. And the City of Michigan City, Indiana. Detailed drawings, specifications, and estimated construction costs were to be delivered to the city by August 31st of 2017. To date, nothing has been submitted to us by Amtrak. On August 7th of 2017, the Board of Works executed the National Railroad Passenger Corporation license agreement, allowing use of the new crossing as part of Phase 1 of the Singing Sands Trail. The annual license fee is $2,250 and was paid for 6 years beginning in 2017 for a total of $13,500. The Michigan City Park Board is requesting termination of the National Railroad Passenger Corporation license agreement as we have been paying for property we cannot use. In addition, Amtrak has failed to submit drawing specifications and estimated construction costs as promised back in 2017. Amtrak's delay has caused the city to lose construction funding in the amount of $446,000 from NDOT and $603,200 from NERC, totaling $1,049,200. NDOT will be performing a mill and resurface project on Highway 12 in the summer of 2024. The 4 lanes of Highway 12 beginning at the Amtrak crossing and heading west to the city's boundary near Mount Baldy will be turned into 1 lane in each direction with a center turning lane. This will allow for an additional 6-foot shoulder on each side of the highway, giving trail users a larger buffer between themselves and traffic. The Park Board recommends the city keep the existing trail termini on both the east and west sides of the Amtrak crossing and not pursue the crossing project. Thank you for your consideration of our request. Park Board President Phil Latchford. Thank you.
Questions or comments?
So this is really crazy. I had to read it twice to understand it. So we've paid them all this money. Do we get this money back? This roughly $75,000?
So once the Board of Works, if they approve the termination of the license agreement, then we will begin sending demand letters asking for the return of our investment in the trail. The bigger problem is the loss of funding.
Yeah, what's that about?
Trail crossing.
That's why we didn't get the funding?
The funding expires. So due to their over 5-year delay, yes, the money expired. So we could put in a request for funding in January in 2028 is probably the earliest year we could get it and start the process over. However, I have zero confidence that Amtrak will comply with any new agreements that the city signs. We've involved the Congressman's office. Congressman Mervan's been very helpful, and we just can't get any movement.
Do they say why they didn't move on this? They just didn't feel like it?
No, and I have 48 pages of correspondence with Amtrak over 5 years that the Congressman has, with no explanations other than new dates that were promised and missed and promised and missed and promised and missed. Once the funding was withdrawn, the city can't move forward with any construction agreements because we don't have the funding.
Right.
And at this point, we shouldn't be paying a license agreement, which was due September 1st, for property that we can't, nor could we ever use.
Yeah. And what exactly were they going to build for us?
A trail crossing across the Amtrak track. So with gates to slow pedestrians and bicyclists down, like a gated system that slows them down and then crossing arms.
Wow. So a little one, like for cars, but for, yeah, wow. Yeah, cause I always, and that's the one by Brant's,
Correct.
right? Yeah, cause when I drive that way, I've always wanted, when I see people coming out on the highway to go around that, and I'm like this.
It's been a bad situation and
Yeah.
our intent,
Mm-hmm.
the city's full intent was to build that crossing.
Mm.
And that's why we got the construction funding for it. But
Right.
now we've lost that.
Wow, it's so crazy.
We are not the only community in the United States dealing with this.
Huh. Wow. So, and who would handle this, the lawsuit? Is that Laura or is that our
Well,
city
at this point,
attorney?
it's not litigation at this point. It would just be terminating license agreement by notice of the Board of Works through corporate counsel Amber LePage. And then she would handle
Yeah.
demand notices,
Like, gotcha.
asking for a return of our money that we invested.
And where is the proposed crossing of 12 then to come up Michigan Boulevard? You gotta cross where? Right out here in front? If you come up, if you're going east on the bike path, then you gotta cross 12 somewhere to get to Michigan Park Boulevard Michigan Boulevard.
There's already crossing at
Right.
Highway 12 and Michigan Boulevard.
Okay, that's where they cross.
Yeah, there's crossing, there's push signals, there's signage, there's road marking.
All right.
Yeah, that's been in place for it'll be 2 years in November.
If I heard you right, I understood but the only difference would be cyclists now are going out on the 12 to get around that. Now instead of having 2 lanes, there's only going to be 1 lane there, so it's going to be a much safer situation for cyclists to go on the 12. Or
Correct.
6 feet or 8 feet that they have to get on 12 to continue on the trail.
Correct. And I have been working with NDOT's engineering team on this project, so they are well aware that we are abandoning the Amtrak project, and we're still talking about other safety measures that NDOT may be able to include, such as, some type of road barriers or markings. So, I mean, we'll continue to work with them to get the safest route over those tracks, but Amtrak really derailed our project.
So, and then will they have will a sidewalk come out that way, or that's what you're talking about? In that we'll
Yeah,
have to
that's
help create something.
Something that we need to work out with NDOT,
Yeah.
but we do have regular meetings with their engineering team.
Mhm.
There may be some concerns with them of putting the bikes into oncoming traffic. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that's gonna be, but they're doing it now, and they're doing it in a very small shoulder.
No,
So
yeah.
Gaining
Yeah.
a lane,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's been extremely frustrating.
Mhm.
We're going against traffic half the time. It's like this kind of.
Just going around the crossing.
Any other questions or comments? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
Well, for the clarification, I would recommend and make a motion that we request to the Board of Works to terminate the Amtrak license agreement.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, we've got 6 resolutions, 5 are worded basically the same. So, and resolution number 1013, it's board of Old so I would propose this to 1013 last, just so you can read the preamble on the first 10, 11, and 14 on, we'll come back and get. Just take the time, but no one has an objection. We've seen none, I'll read the preamble to resolution 1011, and then 1012, 1014, 1015, and 1016 are all the same. And from that point on, I'll just read it. I think that's a moving of one part of that. So, resolution number 1011, what is the superintendent of parks? The superintendent of Parks and Recreation reported that a certain transfer of funds are necessary within the budget of Michigan City Department of Parks and Recreation appropriation because of unanticipated expenses from various accounts, which accounts do not have sufficient funds available for disbursement for said expenses, and whereas there are funds available for said purposes in various other accounts which are not expected to be paid from said accounts during the remainder of the budget year, and whereas Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board has determined that such expenses are necessary and that account transfer should be made in order to meet said expenses now, therefore be resolved. The following transfer be made from the following named accounts to the following named accounts, the purpose stated, then that's the same preamble on all of these. So from this point then, decrease fund 2211 recreation non-reverting contractual 900 and increase fund 2211 Israel recreation non-reverting charges and fees $900. If there are no questions or comments, motion to approve resolution number 1011.
I would move we accept the resolution 1011.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
1012, decrease fund 2204 502 administration operating seasonal wages 15,125, increase fund 2204 502 charges and fees 15,125. Unless there are questions or comments, do I have a motion to approve resolution 1012?
I would so move we accept the resolution 1012.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 1014, decrease fund 2507 000 concession electric 4,016. Regular wages 10,000, and increase fund 2507 000 concession small tools 1,150, and other supplies 13,500. Unless there are questions or comments, do I have a motion to approve resolution 1014?
Move to accept 1014 resolution.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 1015, decrease fund 2204 505 maintenance operating seasonal wages 16,500, increase fund 2204 505 maintenance operating fuel and diesel 8,000, other supplies Christmas 7,000, clothing safety equipment 1,500. We have a motion to approve resolution 1015.
Move to accept 1015 resolution.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carried.
Resolution 1016, decreasing fund 2508 000 golf fund regular wages 23,000, increased fund 2508 000 golf fund, other supplies concessions 3,000, other merchandise alcohol 8,000, oil 700, small tools 1,500, repair parts 5,000, office supplies 2,300, building material 2,500. Do we have a motion?
I have a question on this one. So we always trust that the superintendent is, all this being transferred here and there, that is being overseen. With this being the golf fund, I don't know if we've gotten all of our accountability this summer. So I just want to make sure that someone's looking at this like.
I have an explanation of this
Okay.
resolution.
Okay.
The transfer of funds in the golf budget from 411013 regular wages to 429001. Other supplies and concessions is to get Snack Shop through the end of the season. Transfer to 429007. Other merchandise alcohol is to get the clubhouse through the rest of the outing season. The transfer 422.022 oil is to prepare for the servicing of carts, mowers, during the off season. I've shown pictures of that project in the winter time where they work on the vehicles or the equipment. Transferred to 423031, small tools, is in anticipation of the purchase of 3 new backpack blowers, and that's probably due to the amount of leaves that fall in the fall that have to be removed from the golf course. The transfer 423011, building materials, is to purchase top dressing sand for North Course aeration, which is aerating the 20 greens. They all get aerated and filled with sand. Every little hole gets filled with sand, and it does its process. The transfer 423021, repair parts, is for winter servicing of fleets and mowers. Transfer 421005, office supplies, is for the purchase of a new printer for the clubhouse and the previous printer has broken.
Okay. So $2,300 for a printer?
Correct, and
It's a
that was,
copy machine.
Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry, it scans and does everything, and it was recommended, we checked with Andy Mechanic in IT
Mm.
to recommend or not that we purchase this, and he said it was a good purchase.
Mhm. They do a lot of printing there at the clubhouse?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And when it's needed, it's needed.
Yeah, okay. And then just back to the concessions and the alcohol, do we have P&Ls on that from the summer? Like how, because I think they were gonna do that monthly, is that correct?
And as of now, I must say that we do not have the personnel that can do that.
Yeah.
We do have a position that we're hoping will be approved by the council called the golf manager assistant.
Mhm.
And this will be the person that will complete the goal of mine to have the golf course accountable.
Okay, so we haven't gotten any figures this summer on the concessions?
Well, yes, we do have figures on concessions and the merchandise. I don't have those before me. But
Yeah,
there are,
okay.
there's no profit and loss, but there are as expense and revenue.
Yeah, okay. Well, I would definitely be interested in seeing that. I mean, I plan on voting yes on this, but I think we definitely need to see more with that, especially with a new person being in there. And this is a lot of money, $11,000. So for the food and drinks, yeah. And traditionally, just in this business, there's a lot of theft. So, and I'm not accusing anybody,
You're exactly
but
right.
I'm just saying this is just how you run it. You have to have the numbers. Really, they should have numbers every week. I don't know. We have that whole computer system, don't we?
Golf Now doesn't seem to do it for the golf manager as far as him spending the time at the register. And he may not be qualified, but the certain reasons that I have this golf manager in there has increased the revenue, might have increased the expenses as well.
Mhm.
There is one extra payroll in this period, in the second quarter. However, we have tightened down the golf accountability itself.
Mhm, mhm,
Maybe not so much the merchandise yet, but we're on second base.
mhm. Okay. And I'm sorry, does that run through the program, the IT program that we have in
I'm
there?
not sure if it runs through Golf Now or not, I'm sorry.
That might be a separate register, is that what you're saying?
It is.
Okay. And the alcohol is for that concession stand, or it's for outings?
Outings, correct.
Okay,
I get that revenue and expense.
Great. thank you. Sure.
Any other questions or comments? Questions from the public? Seeing none, we have a motion for resolution 1016.
Move to accept resolution number 1016.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Now we have resolution, we're gonna go back to resolution 13, whereas on October 4th of 2022, the common council of Michigan City, Indiana, enacted ordinance 4649, which includes the funding of certain capital improvements to Michigan City Parks and Recreation Department. Whereas on March 10th, 2023, the city controller issued purchase order number 2023-84 in amount of $35,000 to the Michigan City Parks Department for replacement of shingle on the golf cart storage barn at the golf course. Whereas the cart barn project was completed under budget, leaving a balance of $20,200.00. Whereas the Michigan City Park and Recreation Board has determined additional funding is necessary to replace the overhead doors on the cart barn. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Michigan City Park Board as follows: the aforementioned whereas sentences are incorporated herein as if to fully set forth herein. The Michigan City Park Board requests the common council reallocate the balance of the purchase order 2023-75 to complete the overhead door. That or PO number is different than what's up top. 2020.
I'm sorry, 2023-84 is the correct deal.
Thank you.
I think it's correct down here in paragraph 2.
It should be paragraph 2. Under now, therefore be resolved, should be purchase order 2023-84
Thank you.
to complete the overhead door replacement. And number three, this resolution shall be enforced and effect after passage by the Michigan City Park Board, adopted by the Michigan City Park Board on September 6th. Any further comment on this by anyone?
Does that 20 grand cover the cost of that
Yeah.
other project?
Yes, if I may, yes, the
Sure.
overhead doors, it does cover, if we may. We have 2 overhead doors and a man door, which I'm hoping to have the man door replaced in-house and save a little funding there. But we do also have 3 overhead doors on another building that I'm hoping that the council, if the board will approve, to use the balance of the money to repair 5 overhead doors that are in dire need.
Are you talking about the 2,200
Correct.
for the
The
5 doors?
doors, correct.
Okay. I was gonna say 20,000 for 2 doors is pretty steep.
Yes.
Thank you.
So anticipating potential questions from the city council, I assume this has to go to city council.
Mhm.
I would imagine they're gonna ask, well, did something happen between the time they approved the emergency order to now that makes this a necessary expenditure? And why didn't we anticipate it when we asked for the need for the insurance?
I don't think this was an emergency purchase. This was capital.
Okay, so when we went to them for capital, excuse them.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay,
excuse them.
same.
Yeah, same
scenario.
premise. If we went there for 35,000 to replace the shingles, and now we have something left over, it appears, oh, well, let's see where we can spend this money. How can we alleviate that concern or address that question from the city council?
Well-
If we have extra money, let's just spend it versus the need for these doors. Or just be prepared for that question.
I see.
If you're not prepared.
The price on the shingling was well under the estimate.
Yeah, that's great.
It is, and that's what gave us so much at the end. The price for the 2 overhead doors being so small and not insulated was underestimated. So we ended up with this amount, and 3 doors have been added by just the need of being changed, according to a suggestion by our superintendent. So they weren't planned at the beginning. They were not in the line item, but I would like to add them now because they are needed according to our superintendent.
Well, in the 4th paragraph, it says that there are overhead doors on the cart barn, but some of these doors must be somewhere else.
That's correct.
So do we have to add that in that sentence?
I suppose I would.
I think this is gonna be met with I would be prepared whether it will be or not. The city council is gonna scrutinize this, as they should,
Mhm.
and I would be as prepared as possible, whether it's an addition of a language as Mr. Glenn suggests, or make it not the appearance that, hey, we have leftover money, let's spend it here, because they're gonna probably, I don't think they would just say, that's not the intent of what we went through. And if we need the doors, let's prove to them that the need is there, and that whether it's through this resolution, 1013, or some other capital, we're gonna need that capital, if indeed we do.
Should we table this until we determine as a board that it's necessary, or do you just move this on? How does that work?
Well, I've got 2 comments or 2. One, I'd have to see what the immediate need is.
Right.
If we have time to table it, how much time does it take a city council? 1 reading, 2 readings, 3 readings? I don't know. So that'd be one thing. And then 2, whether you're confident that you can present this in a way to the city council that it doesn't appear as we're just looking to spend the extra money and that we actually need to have these items done.
I'm confident.
So in terms of the city action needed by the city council to take 3 readings, and what timing do you need to have? Do you need this money to repair those doors or replace them?
Those doors could be repaired all the way up until the freezing weather, I'm sure.
And how many,
6 weeks, I would think.
and
it would
what's
take.
this take for city council?
That's what I thought with 3 readings, would that be,
I don't know if it's 3 readings or 1.
I'm guessing 3, so
Yeah,
if anybody knows,
I have a couple of comments.
okay,
So if your intent is to cover the doors on the cart barn only, the resolution reads properly. If you are adding additional work to another facility, this resolution needs to be revised. Secondly, I don't believe this needs 3 readings. So it's 3 readings to appropriate the capital dollars which already occurred. So this would just be a resolution allowing us to use the balance. I don't know how the council will feel in a couple of different situations where we've had a project specified in our capital and it came in under budget. Most recently, I think it was, we could get 3 mowers and we only asked for 2, but the price was good. So it's still applied to the same project. Now, if you go outside of that and say, now we have another building, I don't know what their reaction would be to that. So you can try it either way, but if you're going to go with 3 doors on another facility, that needs to be in this resolution. It needs to be clear what the board's asking.
Where are the other doors at?
it's the same facility, but it's a different it's a different barn. It's an equipment storage barn.
It's
and-
not the same facility because the cart barn project was specifically for the cart barn for 35,000. Now you're talking about taking this balance and transferring it to another building, correct?
Well, in the beginning, that was for maintenance of the cart barn. And the line item had been changed to shingling of the cart barn. Without my knowledge, that line item was changed to shingling. In the beginning, it was maintenance of the or a cart barn.
Okay, so what I'm asking is there's 3 overhead doors that need to be,
2 overhead doors on the building that was shingled, and
okay,
2 overhead doors on the maintenance shop, and 1 overhead door on the gambrel roof barn
right.
storage.
So that's what I'm saying. The cart barn itself, that building, this is where the money was appropriated. So if you're
Well, I'm sorry.
the balance on different buildings, those need to be specified in this resolution before it goes to the council. Because this is just asking to do more work on the cart barn, but that's not what you're asking for, right? You're asking for the 2 overhead doors on the cart barn, the 2 overhead doors on the maintenance building, and the 5th door.
All right. Are you confident that they would be approving to this if the resolution was changed?
I'm saying if that's your intent, you cannot turn this resolution in. It's improper.
That's what I'm saying. If the resolution is changed, would you be confident that they would approve?
That I don't know. I'm just saying if you want to move forward, we need to change this to reflect your correct request. And I don't know. I don't know if they would say,
Right. And
we'll give you
I
that
asked
for the
it
cart
to be
barn, but
changed.
not for maintenance, or they might say, hey, good job, you came in under budget, go ahead and get the work done.
Because I'll tell you what, if nobody's confident, we will just wait until the next capital approval.
I have no position to have confidence or lack of confidence in the city council, what they're doing.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure that we have everything in order if we're gonna go to that.
Mhm.
And I'll leave it at that. That's our intent here, I think, to get the wording correct, and to make sure that this is a necessary expenditure and not just it's a need and not a want.
Why don't we, if the board approves, maybe I suggest that we do what Diane asked, if it might work, to table this and bring it back to the board. And if the board approves and Shannon approves, then we'll move on.
Yeah, I think we just update the language in this and go ahead and ask for the additional work at all the facilities. And they may come back with, no, we're only gonna do the cart barn. It's up to them at that point. I'm just saying you cannot submit this as is and then go to a council meeting and ask for additional work that's not in here.
Right, and I think that we
Because
should
it's
break
more
it down too. This is how much 2 doors are at the cart barn.
Correct.
And that will leave us X amount of dollars from the 20 grand. So we'd like to put that towards
Right.
1 more door, 2 more doors. I mean, we have to know how much that costs too for the other 3 doors. So,
Do it.
yeah, okay,
So yeah, table it and then I'll update this with proper language
yeah,
and put it on
And-
the next agenda.
and cost and all that.
The cart barn
One
maintenance.
other suggestion would be to involve Brian, so he could, get up to speed when he goes to council.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from anyone, including the public? All right, seeing none. What's the pleasure of the board on resolution number 1013?
Well, I so move that we table resolution number 1013.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Any other new business?
No, sir.
All right, moving on, the superintendent's report. Mr. Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Ledgeford. This evening, I would like to report on the golf course. And these are items that I could not report last meeting because of the time constraint. The Grand Prix boat race, tree planting in city parks, Washington Park Zoo, the splash pad, adult softball season, and vandalism. First, though, I would like to say that Mrs. Easton did a great job on making sure that the Peanut Bridge was repaired in a timely fashion. I visited Peanut Bridge with Mr. Volz, and it has been completed to our satisfaction. In fact, it looks very well, and I'll have pictures at our next meeting. Also, before I begin my report, I do want to thank Sean Smith with the street department and Steve Hahn for trimming the trees in a timely fashion, almost in an emergency fashion. So the persons riding their golf carts and our staff taking equipment across Warnke Road could not see from the leaves and the trees and the grass overgrown at that intersection. And thank you to Mike Miladovich, Steve Stanford, and Dave Sneed for cutting the brush. So the trees had to be cut by the street department and the brush had to be cut by the sanitary district. Okay, the golf course. After discussions with President Lashford, we agreed that Michael Moore's ability to run the maintenance of the golf course in his years of experience more than qualify him for the green superintendent position. All staff surveyed agreed that Mr. Moore is the right person for the job. I have promoted Michael Moore from mechanic assistant superintendent to green superintendent. Also, a recent hire in the position of golf laborer named Mark Bush has been promoted to mechanic assistant superintendent. The position, after careful review of his work performance and capabilities, Mr. Bush proves to be an essential asset and qualified for the assistant superintendent position. Dane Bush, no relation to Mark Bush, the current assistant superintendent, is doing a fine job and is now studying to take the spray tech licensing exam. He expects to get his license in a matter of months. Our contractual spray technician, Tony Staley, is also doing a fantastic job maintaining our fairways and greens. He has expressed interest in continuing contractually next year. We'll be letting this position out for bids for the 2024 season, and Mr. Moore, the superintendent of greens, will also be obtaining B3 spraying license. Since the beginning of the year, it has been our intention to improve communications between maintenance, shop, and clubhouse staff. Golf manager Marty Neiman, superintendent Michael Moore have increased the communications, leading to more efficiency within the golf operations. The Grand Prix boat race, I was not able to report last meeting. Rick Wright from the CVB reports that the rain during the August 5th and 6th boat race event did not hurt the quality of the race. The race was well attended by people from all around the United States. Mr. Wright and the CVB received overall great reviews from the racers themselves. Fog delayed the schedule, but all racers were able to participate. Vendors did well, which indicates a healthy crowd. Promoters from the other races throughout the United States visited our race from Englewood, Florida, Fort Myers, Sarasota, Cocoa Beach, and Sinclair, Michigan. An estimated impact report conducted by Surtech, located in Versailles, Kentucky, will deliver a report soon after October 1st. From my perspective, the rain did not impact attendance or the racers. It was an extraordinary event, and the city of Michigan City thanks the LaPorte County Visitors Bureau for all their efforts to organize this event at Washington Park. Tree planting in the parks. Northwest Indiana Regional Planting Tree Committee, Planning Committee, NERPC, has decided to award Michigan City trees. They are still finalizing the number of the trees that our community will receive. I think that number is now 10. The number of these trees will be planted in city parks with the primary purpose of providing shade for park visitors. We will be working with Mr. Volz to plot the most suitable locations and follow the planting, mulching, and watering regulations. Washington Park Zoo. Several weeks ago, the ceremonial ribbon cutting for the Predator Ridge exhibit was well attended. Grand Prix racer Billy Mouth attended and donated another $10,000 to Washington Park Zoo, with expectations of using the funds to improve spectator viewing and increase shade for the wolves in their enclosure. Director Jamie Huss and the zoo staff did a fantastic job putting the ceremony together. The entire park department and zoo are very grateful for Billy Mouth's generous donations. The splash pad. The splash pad has been operating daily from 11 to 4 without any difficulties and has been moderately attended. Today was one of the few days that it has been closed due to inclement weather. Now, this was last meeting, so it was several days ago. I would like to thank Park Department staff for their diligent work to open and close 7 days per week, along with the duties they perform throughout our parks. Adult softball this fall season. Adult softball season starts today, September 6th. Big Bat Co-Ed is on Wednesdays, and we ended up with 5 teams. Big Bat Co-Ed means the girls and the guys use a normal-sized bat but play on big fields at Patriot Park. They also play with 6 guys and 4 girls. Compared to our Sunday small bat co-ed, which is played with 5 guys and 5 girls on a small field. We didn't receive enough signups for our men's league, which is a problem, not just in our city, but also all around the surrounding cities. Co-ed is what everyone likes playing nowadays, and we are not sure of the reason. We are going to try something different next year on the day of our men's league. We have had a lot of interest in starting a kickball league, so next year we are going to try it out. On the day that we play men's league, this is a great idea by Mr. Kraczynski to bring new recreational sport for our adults 18 and over. Our Sunday small bat co-ed league is the best around. No other city has 11 teams like we have in any of their co-ed leagues. I hear LaPorte has half as many teams as we do. Mr. Kraczynski also reports that it is very important that we put money into our fields at Gardena Park, since that is the main field we use on Sunday co-ed, since there are so many tournaments at Patriot Park. And I'm reporting to the board here tonight that we are planning on not using or having an MOU with Trail Creek next year. We find that it's difficult for our staff to prepare fields at Trail Creek and still be able to have enough staff to prepare fields at Gardena and Patriot. So we're hoping to put more emphasis on our own fields, and we have enough fields to play our T-ball at Gardena small field and 8U at Patriot Park, and those 8-year-old kids will really enjoy playing, I think, at Patriot Park. That's been a suggestion by many parents. So I'm sure we all agree how important it is to have decent fields for our biggest draw in adult softball. Even without men's league, we are very happy with the 16 teams who signed up to play. I think that's the most in our area from what Kerry Kraczynski says. To the board members from Kerry Kraczynski, if there are any questions about anything else, please don't hesitate to call me, he says. And that's his phone number. You're welcome to call me or email me if you have any questions for Mr. Kraczynski. And he says, thank you for all your support. And that concludes my report. Vandalism. There was an accident on the bridge on Highway 12. A car slid down the slope wall and collided into a large tree. No one was seriously hurt. Whether or not that's actually vandalism or an accident, we're not quite sure. A little bit of vandalism at Carroll Avenue. A mysterious landscape debris keeps being dumped at the Carroll Avenue site. That is the site where the park department mows. It's not a park, but somehow years ago, Parks Department started mowing this location, and we still do. But some vandals are dumping debris on that site as we clean it up and continue to dump. And that concludes my vandalism report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Questions or comments? Right. Thanks again. Seeing none, we'll move on to the liaison reports. I am the Planning Commission liaison, and there has not been a meeting since our last meeting. The Port Authority liaison is Mr. Freeze.
I have no report.
Thank you. And the Zoological Society liaison is Mr. Glidden.
Their next meeting has not been set. I have no report.
Very good. Thank you. And attorney's report tonight.
No report.
Thank you. Any director's reports tonight?
There are none.
All right. That takes us to Department Finances and back to Mr. Glidden.
The board meeting of September 6, 2023, Department of Finances, gifts and donation. We have an anonymous gift from to the zoo of $25, and I would move that we accept this donation.
Second.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Minor transfers, recreation fund, decrease amount, medical supplies 161, increase amount, small tools 161. We vote on each one separate.
You can read them all.
Okay. Zoo fund 2020 2204.504, decrease account zoo food 3,000, decrease account regular wages 12,000, increase account other supplies 3,000, increase account overtime 12,000. Concession fund, decrease account 435.010, electric 400, decrease the account 422.031, household 225, decrease the account other supplies Peacock 5,000, increase account repair and maintenance building 400, increase account small tools and PP 25, increase account office supplies 200, increase account other supplies 5,000. Maintenance fund, decrease account seasonal wages 2,000, increase account overtime 2,000. Golf fund, decrease account regular wages 1,000, increase account overtime 1,000. I would move that we make these minor transfers.
Second.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
I
Opposed?
Board of Works invoices totaling $75,575.92 were paid the 9/5/23 Board of Works meeting to Kenny Machinery LLC, maintenance for the Z Master mowers of $75,575.92. I would move that we pay these invoices with the Board of Works.
Second.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Credit card charges totaling $45.87 were paid to corporate payment systems for the following: Amazon.com administration batteries for radios, $45.87. I would move that we approve these credit card charges.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We need to go back up.
City claim.
Okay. The payroll of number 17, 2023, 8/6/23 to 8/19/23, pay date 8/25. Total payroll $98,747.32. I would move that we meet this payroll.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Claims docket for September 6, 2023, municipal $137, $940.84. Golf petty cash $4,628.85. Total claims $142,569.69. I would move that we meet the claims docket for September 6th.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
And I take it there are no Zoo endowment bills. It's the only one we haven't covered. Thank you. All right, any comments from the public tonight? Seeing none, comments from the board? Seeing none, our next meeting is Wednesday, September 20th, 5 o'clock right here. Motion to adjourn.
So move.